Good evening, my dears. Hope you are good. So, last class we have seen the third prose, that is in celebration of being alive, and the previous to that class we have seen the third poem, All the World's a Stage, written by William Shakespeare. Right. So, today this class we will go on to the grammar section of the third unit, that is tag questions. Question tags. Right. So 10th you have read about this question tag. So still we will move on to the depth level. Right, my dears? So this question will definitely come for the examination. This question carries 1 mark, and this question may come in the first 1 to 20 questions or in the 46th question. The direct spot this question may come. Right, my dears? Okay, fine. We'll move on to the questions. Let me read out what is a question tag. So a question tag is a short question from form added at the end of a declarative or an imperative sentence. So it is a short question, right? The question tag, it is a short question first of all, that is added, where it is added at the end of a sentence, right, of an imperative, an ordering or commanding or declarative questions, statements or sentences. It is generally used to draw attention of the listener to the sentence and to see confirmation. So where it is used, actually it is used to draw the attention, of the listener, right? It is given over here, and to seek the confirmation, to give a certainty for the question asked. Sometimes they are used to encourage a reply from the person. So most probably, if a question tag is used, that means a proper response should be received, or the speaker are in need to get a reply from the listener, right, who is spoken to. The question tags are commonly used in conversations, especially in spoken. These question tags are commonly used in the spoken mainly, and are usually in the formal English. Formal English means written, right, or the way we used to write. Okay, right. So these are the small intro about the question tag. Now we will move on to the points to remember. Right, it is given the page number 79. It is in the old book of 79. It is, so check in your book, right? It is third unit grammar section, right, my dears? Okay, fine. So they have given a lot of points to remember. These points to remember, is used, right, to learn much or to understand much or to remember whenever you are answering for a question tag. So these points to be remembered. Okay, fine. The question tag always begins with an auxiliary verb or a modal verb. The question tag always begins with an auxiliary or a modal verb. The answer should be in either an auxiliary verb or a modal verb. So auxiliary means how many auxiliaries? I told you in the beginning, the first class, auxiliary verbs. Do you remember or not? Auxiliary verbs, right? Am, is, or was, were, have, has, have, and then was, were, then do, did, does, right, my dears? And the modal verbs, we have 9 modals. Okay, fine. And 4 quasi modal, or it can be called as semi modal, right? So based on the auxiliary verb as well as the modal verb, we need to write answer for the tag, right? And moreover, in the absence of this thing, what we need to do? Okay, found? Absence of the auxiliary verb or the modal verb in a sentence, what we need to do? That is given at the back, right? The subject of the question tag is a personal pronoun except there. The subject of the question tag is a personal pronoun. So here the pronoun, it should be a personal one. Maximum it may come as he, she, it, right, they, in such a way will come. Except there. If there comes means what we need to do, that is given at the back. Okay. The pronoun should agree with the number, gender and person of the subject of the statement. And moreover, the pronoun, the answer should agree with the number, gender and the person of the subject of the statement or subject of the sentence. Right. The negative adverb not is always used in contracted form. The negative adverb not is always used in the contractive form. Okay, here they have given about or they have listed out what are the tags we have. What are the question tags, right? Based on the auxiliary verb and modal verb, they have given lot of examples. In the absence of the, what is it called? The subject, the pronoun. That we will go on now, right? Listen here. Isn't, wasn't, aren't, weren't, hasn't, haven't, hadn't, doesn't, don't, didn't, won't, shan't, can't, wouldn't, shouldn't, couldn't, mustn't, needn't, oughtn't, daren't. Right, my dears? So these are all up to this. We will call it as the auxiliaries. Starting from isn't till didn't. We call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We call this as the auxiliary tags. And starting from this won't till daren't, we call this modal as well as semi-modal. See, modals means won't, shan't, can't, wouldn't, shouldn't, couldn't, mustn't. These are all said to be modals. And needn't, oughtn't, daren't. These three are said to be the quasi-modal, or we may call it as semi-modals. Right. Next points to remember. If the sentence is in affirmative, that means positive. If the sentence is in positive, the tag it takes is usually negative. Got it? Got, my dear? If the sentence or the absence of not in the sentence or the statement, then you have to use negative tag. If the sentence is negative or if the sentence carries not in the statement, then you have to go for the positive tag. Vice versa. If you come across the positive or the absence of not, then you have to go for, right, negative. If you come across negative in the sentence, then you have to go for the positive tag. Right. So let us move on to the example based on the auxiliary as well as what is it called? Modal verbs. Right, my dear? Okay, listen. What is the first example they have given? Mr. Ranjit is a great scholar. Forget about this, the answer. Just go through this one. What is this one? Mr. Ranjit is a great scholar. Right. What is this one? If you go through this sentence, look at the pronoun here. Ranjit. So this Ranjit, it is the first person we can write as he. Second person we can write it as he. And what is the auxiliary verb it is given? Is it is given. First of all, a sentence like this it is given. You have to go for any auxiliary verb or modal verb it is given or not. Okay, fine. So if you go through this sentence, Mr. Ranjit is a great scholar. That means, what is the auxiliary verb it is given? Is. So write it as the first one, is. Then go for the affirmative or it is negative. Whether the sentence carries any not or not. The sentence carries nothing. So absence of not, then you have to go for the negative tag. The sentence it is positive. Then you have to go for the negative. So is plus not, we will write it as isn't. See, that's what it is given. Is plus not, it is isn't. Right? That's what it is written over here. And Mr. Ranjit, it can be written as he. Since it is a male gender, we have to go for he. If it is a female, then you have to go for she. If it is a third person, you have to go for then it. Right, my dears? Okay, fine. Then go to the second example. You can complete this project in a week. Forget about the answer, can't you? Go through the question once again. You can complete this project in a week. Okay, as I told you already, what you have to go for first? Any be form verb or modal verb, it is given in the sentence or not. So what it is given here? Can. That means modal it is given. And go for the example sentence. Whether it is in positive or negative. Any not is there? No. Then you have to go for can plus not in the answer. Can plus not, that is can't. See, can plus not, can't. What is the subject here? You. If you come across the subject you, then it will written as it is the same. Right? And the most important thing it is, at the end of the answer, it is compulsory that you have to write this or you have to use this question mark. Absence of the question mark for the question tag, it is considered as the wrong answer. Right, my dears? So whenever you are writing the question tag, you are supposed to use this question mark after, right, framing the answer. Okay. Example, next example. Agalya will never accept your proposal. As I told you already, forget about the answer. Go for the question once again. Agalya will never accept your proposal. Okay. So what, as I told you already, be form verb or modal verb. Here it is modal verb. What is it called? Will it is given. Okay. Next, we have to go for whether the sentence it is in positive or negative. The sentence it is in negative because never means not is hidden. Then you have to go for the positive tag. Will, it will retain as the same. Okay. Agalya, right, feminine gender. So we have to go for she. Then will plus C. So if the sentence it is negative, you have to go for the positive tag. If the sentence it is in positive tag, then you have to go for the negative tag. Right? Okay. Fine. So let us move on to the second important points to remember. What is it? If the main part of the sentence doesn't have any auxiliary verb or a modal verb, the question tag is formed with the appropriate form of the do based on the tense of the main verb and the number of the subject. Right, my dear? Okay. In the first three example, first example, be form word is given. Second example, modal. Third example also modal is given. Suppose, if you come across a sentence, absence of the modal verb, absence of the be form verb. So, absence of the be form verb as well as absence of the modal verb, can, will. What you have to do? Then you have to go for the, right, do based tense form of the main verb. In the absence of the be form verb as well as the modal verb, you have to go for the main verb based on the do based tenses. Right? What is a do based and what is it main verb? Look at, my dear. I'll go through the example first. Then it will be easier for you to understand. Okay. Example 1. Magadi sings very well. Forget about the answer. Magadi sings very well. Right. Here, look at the sentence. Is there any be form verb it is given? Am is already given? Nothing. Or any modal verb? Can, could, may, might? Nothing. Or any quasi modal? Need, should, need, daren't, oughtn't, any given? Nothing it is here. Only main verb it is given. What is the main verb? Sings. Listen, my dear. A small easy method to write this one. If you come across the verb alone, right, verb in the present tense, the verb in the present tense, then you have to go for do. If the verb it is in the past tense, then you have to go for did. If you come across verb plus is, then you can go for does. A short way of understanding this one. If the question, absence of the be form verb, absence of the modal verb, Only the main verb it is given. Then you have to go for the do based verbs. Do based verbs, how you have to frame? If the main verb it is given in the present tense, you have to go for do. If the main verb it is given in the past tense, you have to go for did. And if the main verb comes along with the yes, verb plus yes, then you have to go for does. Very simple. Okay, here look at this one. Absence of the be form verb, absence of the modal verb, then main verb alone it is given. Main verb means you have to go for do. Okay, here verb plus yes, sings, sing plus yes, sings. So as I told already, verb plus yes, then you have to go for does. Fine. And then you have to go for the second step. What is second step? Whether it is a positive or negative. This sentence it is in positive. So positive means you have to go for the negative tag. So does plus not doesn't. Magadi, since it is a feminine gender, we have to go for she. And finally question mark. Okay, fine. Next example. These girls sing very well. These girls sing very well. Okay. So absence of the be form verb, absence of the modal verb, only main verb it is given. What is the main verb here given? Sing. Sing it is the present form or past form, or any verb plus s comes here? No. Only sing it is given the present form. So present form means you have to go for do. Right? And the second step it is positive or negative. It is positive. Then you have to go for the answer in the negative. That is do plus not don't. Do plus not don't. These girls. So these girls, the subject it is plural. Plural means you have to go for plural verb. They. Right? These girls, that means what? Plural. So you have to go for they. If plural subject comes, you have to go for they. Right, my dear? Okay. Present tense, plural subject. Present tense and then plural subject. Then you have to go for this one. Right, example number 3. Okay, what is this example number 3? Magadi sang very well yesterday. Yesterday it is what? Past tense. And go for the main verb. Main verb is also given in the past tense. Sing, sang, past tense. So as I told already, past tense means you have to go for did. And absence of the, what is it called? Not. Then you have to go for not in the answer. Then did plus not didn't. Magadi, feminine. That's why we have used she. Up. Then you have to have didn't she. Right. So present tense means do. Right. And moreover, if yes comes means does. And present tense, absence of this, then you have to go for do. And past tense you have to go for did. So verb plus yes means, you can just keep it up mind. Verb plus yes, that means does. Alone, verb alone, present, then you have to go for do. Past tense means did. Right, my dears? Okay, fine. Next one. The subject hidden in an imperative sentence is always you, and so the subject of the question tag is also you. Okay, listen here. The subject hidden in imperative sentence. What is the meaning of imperative? Ordering or requesting. Right? So if you come across imperative sentences in direct, indirect, you would have read about the 4 kinds of sentences. Statement, right? And then question, interrogative, and then imperative, and then exclamatory. So the imperative it is, what is it imperative? Either request or commanding. So if a sentence starts with a request or commanding, that means, see here, the subject is given, these girls, Mahadi, right here Agalya, here you, and here Ranjit. The subject it is given. But if you see the imperative sentence, ordering or commanding, you will not, sometimes you will not come across the subject. Then what you have to go? You have to use you. So imperative sentence means the subject hidden, it is what? You only. So when you are writing the answer, you have to add you in the imperative sentences. Right, next one. The imperative sentences that express a polite request, obligation, suggestion, invitation, and then impatience, warning, etc. So further if you go little deep, the imperative sentences express the polite request or invitation or obligation or suggestion, then warning. What you have to go? Right? Fine. Let us see. Look, listen here. We'll take a will or would as adverbs in the question tag. Right? So, in imperative sentence, if you come across invitation, suggestion, obligation, request, that means what is the tag you have to use? Will or would plus not otherwise and what the subject you. Okay. Example, please bring me a glass of water. That is what polite request. So polite request comes means you have to go for either will otherwise would. Right here, and this is what imperative sentence means. What is subject you have to use? As I told already, you. So you, imperative sentence means hidden meaning. What is the subject? It is you. It is given there. You have to write you, and the polite request then you have to go for would otherwise will. Here you should not go for the thing it is positive or negative. No, only positive should be used. But absence of the imperative sentence, you have to go for the sentence it is in positive means you have to go for negative answer. The sentence it is negative means you have to go for the positive answer. But the imperative, no. Right? Always follow the traffic rules. It is obligation. So this also what imperative. Imperative means subject you have to go for you. And then it is an obligation. As I told you, obligation you can go for will otherwise would. Then question mark. Then join us for lunch tomorrow. Invitation. Then imperative you have to go for the subject you and then will. See, imperative means you have to go for, invitation comes means you have to go for will. Right? Next one. Don't ever meddle with my papers. Don't ever meddle with my papers. It is a warning. Warning. Right? If warning comes means go for will. Polite request would, obligation would, invitation will, warning will. Okay. Right. Okay, my dears. Understood? Next one. The pronoun they is used if the subject of the sentence refers to people or animals or things in plural. This is very, very important. When you have to use the pronoun they as the tag, as the subject, the question tag. When you have to use the subject of the sentence refers to people or animals or things in plural, then you have to go for the tag plural they. Listen here. The young should learn to take up the responsibilities, shouldn't they? Here this sentence it is not a imperative, right? It is not comes under warning or commanding or request. Okay, listen here. The young should, young means what? The youngsters. So the subject is they. The subject is plural in meaning. So you have to go for they. So first step, they over. And then what is the model or auxiliary it is given? Model it is given. Should. And is there any not it is given? No. Then you have to go for should plus not shouldn't. And then the subject young. That means you have to go for they. Shouldn't they. Example number 2. The toys in the box are not new or they. The toys, that means what? The subject it is, the pronoun it is what? Plural. The pronoun is the plural. Then you have to go for the they. First step is over. And go for the model or be form verb. Here be form verb or it is given and moreover not. That means what? The question it is the negative in meaning. Then you have to go for the positive. Then same you have to write are and then toys they. What you have to write are they. Right, my dears? Okay, fine. So today we have seen up to this page number 80 we have seen. Shall we have a small recap? Right, what is the first one? The question tag always begins auxiliary verb or a modal verb. You have to frame the answer using a modal verb or an auxiliary verb. First step is over. And the second step it is the pronoun. Except there. According to the subject, we have to go for the thing. What is the third one? What is the pronoun? Number, gender, person. According to this, we have to go for the thing. Next one. They have given examples for the tags. Isn't, wasn't, aren't, weren't, hasn't, haven't, hadn't, doesn't, don't, didn't. These are all said to be auxiliaries. The next thing it is given modals. What are they? Won't, shan't, can't, wouldn't, shouldn't, couldn't, mustn't. These are said to be modals. The remaining three needn't, oughtn't, daren't. These three are said to be semi-modal or quasi-modals. Fine. Next important thing. If the statement is in positive or affirmative, then the tag is usually negative. If you come across the sentence it is in the positive, then you have to go for the negative. And if the sentence it is in negative, you have to go for the positive. And they have given the example. First example it is they have given be form of is. And the next thing it is what you have to go for? The subject. Subject Ranjit. Ranjit it is a pronoun, right? What is the pronoun? It comes under he. And then you have to go for he. And then is plus the sentence it is in the positive. Then you have to go for the negative. Then is plus not isn't he. Same way can. Positive subject, present sentence, then negative answer, then you, can't you. Then here also they have given will. That means what? Modal verbs it is given. So modal verb it is given and never it is given. So never means what is that meaning? Not is there. Then you have to make for a positive verb. Then will she. So far we have seen the presence of the be form verb as well as the presence of the modal verb. We have seen, we have written the answers based on these two things. So if the absence of the be form verb as well as the modal verb, what you have to go for? That is they have given over here. If the main part of the sentence doesn't have an auxiliary verb or a modal verb, what you have to do? Then you have to frame the sentence based on the do form verbs. Right? What is the do form verbs? By looking at the main verb. So if the main verb it is given in the present tense, you have to go for do. If the main verb it is given in the past tense, you have to go for did. If the main verb comes along with yes, sings, then you have to go for does. Right? So here look at this. Magadi sings verb plus yes. So here no be form verb, no modal it is given. Only the main verb it is given. So main verb that even verb plus yes. As I told already, verb plus yes means you have to go for does. Magadi and then she. And here the sentence it is positive, then negative. Then what you have to go for? Does plus she, doesn't. Does plus not doesn't, then Magadi she. The pronoun is she, then doesn't she. Then the second example, these girls sing very well. Sing, the absence of the be form verb, modal verb, and the main verb. What is the main verb? Sing it is given. Sing it is in the present. Present means you have to go for do. So here the sentence that is positive. So positive means do plus not. That means don't. These girls, the pronoun is in the plural. Then you have to go for the plural subject, that is they. Third one, Magadi sang very well yesterday. Sang, that means what? Past tense. So past tense means did. So did plus not didn't. Magadi singular pronoun. So didn't she. Right. These girls sang very well yesterday. Sang, there is also what? Past tense. So past tense means did, didn't, did plus not. These girls plural. That's why didn't they. Right, my dears. Next one they have given about the imperative sentence. So if you come across imperative sentence, request or polite sentences, what is the subject? It is hidden. You it is given. Hidden. Then you have to frame the question tag based on the subject you. Right. And they have given further imperative sentences such as polite request, obligation, suggestion, invitation, warning, and impatient. Then you have to go for, what do you have to go for? Will or would. See, will or would they have to use. Okay, examples I have given. Please bring me a glass of water. That means water. Please, that is a polite. So polite means what? Imperative. Imperative means what is the hidden subject? You. That's why we have written you. And then polite, that means you have to go for either will or would. Here they have to go for would. Always follow the traffic rules. This is also imperative. Imperative means subject you, it is hidden. That is you have to answer you and wouldn't. And join us for lunch tomorrow. That means what? Invitation. Invitation means will you. Here, don't ever meddle with my papers. Warning. Warning also will you. See, only in the imperative sentences we will never think about whether the sentence is positive or negative, but apart from that the remaining one you have to go for the affirmative and negative, right my dears. And the next one, it is the pronoun they use used if the subject of the refers to the people, animals or things in plural. See, if the subject or the pronoun it is plural, then you have to go for the plural subject they. The young, that means what? The youngsters. Then they have used. And then B form, sorry, model it is given should plus not a shouldn't. Then the toys in the box, toys it is plural, that's why they have used they. And here are, so B form of are we have used. And the subject, I mean the sentence it is in negative, that's why we didn't use the not in the answer, that's why are they, right my dears. So first part of this question tag is over. If you need doubt you can clarify it later, right? So see you next class. Take care my dear. Good night.